Have you ever questioned whether everything you've been told about truth is nothing more than an elaborate deception? What if the very foundations of our beliefs are built on shaky ground, a ground that Bertrand Russell exposed with razor-sharp logic? Today, we're diving headfirst into the shocking lies about truth and how one man's insights can shatter the narratives we so often accept without question. Let's begin with Bertrand Russell himself. Russell wasn't just any philosopher. He was a fearless thinker who took on the biggest intellectual challenges of his time. Born into privilege in early 20th century Britain, he witnessed wars, social upheaval, and the rise of propaganda. Yet instead of bowing to the prevailing dogmas, he dissected them with the precision of a surgeon. Russell believed that truth isn't a static, unquestionable entity handed down from on high. It's something we must earn through clear thinking and evidence. Now consider this. In our daily lives, truth is often presented as an absolute. We see headlines proclaiming the truth behind political scandals, media outlets insisting on their version of reality, and even social media echo chambers reinforcing beliefs without question. But Russell argued that many of these narratives are built on what he called logical fallacies and misused language. In his view, truth emerges only when we strip away the layers of rhetoric and look at the raw, unadorned facts. Take, for example, the correspondence theory of truth, a cornerstone in Russell's thinking. According to this theory, a statement is true if it corresponds to the way things actually are in the world. It's a simple idea, yet so powerful. When you hear someone claim that everything is under control, Russell would urge you to ask, what does control really mean? How can we measure it? And does the reality of our experiences align with that claim? In doing so, he exposes the gap between comforting narratives and the often messy complexity of reality. Russell's insistence on precision and clarity was a direct challenge to the propaganda of his time, a challenge that resonates even more today. Modern political discourse is riddled with terms like freedom, security, and justice. These words sound noble, but without a clear, logical framework, they become tools for manipulation. Russell would argue that if we fail to define our terms, if we allow emotive language to replace rigorous thought, then we're in danger of accepting convenient falsehoods as truth. Let's dig a bit deeper. Consider the way many popular narratives work. They appeal to our emotions, our need for certainty, and our desire to belong. Russell was well aware of these human tendencies. He often pointed out that the search for truth requires more than just feeling. It demands skepticism and a relentless commitment to questioning assumptions. For instance, during the Cold War era, governments on all sides used the rhetoric of truth to justify extraordinary measures. Russell's logical approach reminds us that if something seems too neat, too tidy, or too comforting, it might just be a constructed narrative designed to pacify us. In our contemporary world, misinformation spreads at an unprecedented rate. Social media platforms amplify opinions over facts, and clickbait headlines thrive on stirring our emotions rather than enlightening us. Russell's insights push back against this trend. He believed that if we approach every claim with a healthy dose of skepticism and a willingness to dissect its underlying logic, we can uncover hidden inconsistencies and falsehoods. He wasn't advocating for cynicism, but for an active, questioning mind, a mind that doesn't accept things at face value. Imagine watching a news segment that declares experts confirm that our economic future is secure. Now pause and ask yourself, who are these experts? What data are they relying on? And more importantly, does the evidence really support the sweeping claim of security? Russell would say that without transparent reasoning and verifiable facts, such statements are little more than persuasive rhetoric. It's not about dismantling every statement, but about ensuring that our beliefs are anchored in reason rather than mere assertion. One of Russell's most compelling contributions was his critique of dogma. He argued that dogma, unquestioned beliefs that resist scrutiny, acts as a barrier to genuine understanding. Dogma thrives on authority. It tells us that if a renowned institution or a charismatic leader says something, it must be true. But Russell warned that true truth is not a product of consensus or tradition. It's the outcome of critical inquiry. In today's context, this means challenging not only political or social narratives, but also the unspoken assumptions that govern our personal lives. Let's bring this into the realm of everyday experience. How many times have you encountered a social media post that claims, "This one secret will change your life forever"? Such statements are designed to bypass your critical faculties. Russell would remind us that truth isn't a mysterious secret to be discovered in a viral post. It's a process, a journey of questioning, testing, and refining our understanding based on evidence. The allure of a simple, all-encompassing answer is precisely what makes such deceptive narratives dangerous. Russell also emphasized the importance of intellectual humility. He maintained that our understanding of truth is always provisional. New evidence and better arguments can and should cause us to revise our beliefs. This perspective is particularly relevant in an age where fake news and conspiracy theories seem to thrive on the idea that there is one unchangeable truth that everyone is either buying into or rejecting. Instead, Russell's approach invites us to embrace uncertainty, to accept that our grasp on truth is inherently imperfect, and that the pursuit of truth is an ongoing, never-ending process. Now consider how this all ties back to our modern media landscape. Every day, we're bombarded with information designed to evoke strong emotional responses. Advertisements, political campaigns, even news broadcasts often rely on half-truths, selective evidence, and emotionally charged language to shape our perceptions. Russell's legacy teaches us that we must resist the temptation to accept these narratives without scrutiny. Instead, we should ask ourselves, what are the underlying assumptions here? What evidence supports this claim? And what might be left out of the picture? This isn't just an academic exercise, it's a call to action. Russell's logical insights empower us to reclaim our intellectual autonomy. They challenge us to dissect arguments rigorously, to demand clarity in our public discourse, and to hold those in power accountable for the narratives they propagate. When we apply Russell's methods, we begin to see that many of the truths we've been fed are in fact carefully constructed illusions. Let me share a concrete example. Imagine a politician claiming that we are living in the best of all possible worlds. At first glance, this statement sounds optimistic, even comforting. But if we unpack it using Russell's logic, we might ask, on what basis is this claim made? What metrics are being used to evaluate our world? And more critically, who benefits from accepting this narrative? Through such questioning, it becomes evident that what might be touted as an objective truth is actually a subjective and perhaps strategically biased perspective. Russell's challenge to popular narratives isn't about tearing down every established belief. It's about refining our understanding of truth itself. It's about recognizing that truth is not a commodity to be bought and sold, but a rigorous pursuit that demands our constant vigilance. In an era where misinformation can spread like wildfire, his insistence on logical scrutiny is more relevant than ever. By embracing this mindset, we not only become better informed citizens, but also more empowered individuals. We learn to navigate the flood of information with discernment, to question rather than accept, and to understand that the most enduring truths are those we have arrived at through careful, deliberate thought. Bertrand Russell's legacy is a reminder that our intellect, when sharpened by critical inquiry, is our greatest tool against deception. As we wrap up, remember this: the journey to uncover truth is not a one-time event. It's a continuous process of questioning, challenging, and refining our beliefs. Bertrand Russell exposed the lies that masquerade as truth, and in doing so, he gifted us a blueprint for intellectual freedom. If we can learn to apply his insights to our own lives, we might just see the world in a clearer, more honest light. So the next time you're presented with a sweeping narrative or a seductive claim of absolute truth, pause and ask, what does the evidence really say? What logical foundations support this claim? Embrace the spirit of inquiry that Russell championed, and you might just discover that truth, real, unvarnished truth, is far more compelling and liberating than any comfortable illusion. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into the world of truth as seen through Bertrand Russell's eyes. If this exploration challenged your views or sparked new questions, then my job here is done. Stay curious, stay skeptical, and never stop asking, what is the truth?